Howdy, howdy, and welcome back to another Workshop Wednesday. This week's edition is getting started. So it's for those of you who are just starting out with all this crazy fun stuff. Specifically, we're going to talk today about how to set up a Google Ads conversion using Google Tag Manager. Before we go too far into this, welcome. If this is your first Workshop Wednesday, my name is Chris Mercer. Everybody calls me Mercer. You should as well. The main instructor here over at measurementmarketing.io. And whether you found us through the podcast and talks, maybe through some of the content that we've shared with some of our other training platform partners like CXL or Digital Marketing or Measure Summit, maybe you're already a member over at measurementmarketing.io, whether that's a free toolbox member or maybe you're a part of the Academy for Marketers program or the Academy for Measurement Professionals program, maybe Academy for Agencies and Teams. However you found us, we're happy that you're here. It's our job to obviously help you learn all this stuff. And that means staying up to date with the latest thinking, the latest ways of doing all of this stuff, because let's face it, it changes all the time. And we're going to talk today about obviously Tag Manager and how it relates to Google Ads conversions. Now, we do have the Measurement Marketing Academy where a lot of these videos end up. In addition to all of the courses, we have courses that cover Tag Manager basics and beyond basics. We've got courses that cover Google Analytics 4, the basics and beyond basics. Even the older version of Universal Analytics is back there still. Looker Studio, Measurement Strategy. There's a ton of courses that are back there as part of the Measurement Marketing Academy. More on that in just a bit. For this workshop, think about one thing. It's one idea. Could be just a technique or a tactic that you see. Could be a different way of thinking about something that you noticed and you're like, oh, this could be interesting. We should probably do this. It's just pick a thing that you learned from this workshop, put that into focus, into fruition, into actually practice, and you build it as a skill. Then you take this workshop, watch it again, and you'll find another new one thing, and then you use that and you practice that. And that is how you get good at this stuff without getting overwhelmed and frustrated by all the different ways that you can do things, because there's a lot to it. All right, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Getting started. Setting up Google Ads conversions using Google Tag Manager. All right, we're going to go ahead and start with the framework. Remember, we plan, we build, and we launch. Why do we do this? Because we're marketing in the blind, and we want to just use a system that automatically produces the results we want, in this case, revenue and profits. So how do we do that? First, we plan. Now, how do you plan? We make sure we're listing all the questions we're trying to get answers to. We think about all the different information, the different behaviors we need to collect in order to get answers to those questions. And most importantly, at this stage, we figure out what actions we're going to take based upon the answers we're about to get. That's how you build a measurement plan. Then you move into your build. That is where, of course, setting up Google Ads pixels is going to come through and Google Ads conversions using a tool like Tag Manager. So we make sure the results are being measured like conversions. Then we make sure the traffic's identified. We make sure there's properly set up a story, a connection between which traffic is causing which specific results. Then we move into the launch. How do we actually use all this measurement? Well, we got to listen to the conversation that's happening between the users and the website. Those are the trends and patterns. Once we get those trends and patterns, then it's about, okay, now let's start forecasting. Instead of driving in the rearview mirror all the time, we actually start looking through the windshield. We start marketing forward and we start saying, hey, here's how this thing is supposed to work next week, and we measure against our forecasts. Then we optimize, because we're going to measure against our forecast. It's going to tell us where we're hitting the mark and where we're not, and that will tell us where to focus our very limited marketing resources so that we can most move the needle, at least have the better than average chance of doing that. That is the measurement marketing framework in a nutshell, and of course, that is the particular measurement strategy we recommend you use as well. Whether it's this one or something else, you should absolutely have a strategy as to how you're using measurement in your own organization. Now, your instructor for today is a certified measurement marketer, Fiona Smallwood. In addition to being an instructor and a certified measurement marketer, she's a Google Ads specialist. That's sort of where she came into the world from. So she knows everything there is to know about Google Ads and how to use it. She's on a mission to really help people understand this and stop blindly believing what the platform says. How many times have you seen Google Ads say, hey, you made $1 million, but your bank account says $100? How many times has Facebook also said, hey, I've made $1 million, but your bank account says $100? Like, that's what Fiona's on the mission for, to help people understand how to use all of these different measurement tools in a way so that you can get a useful truth of what results you're actually getting. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and then bring to the stage Fiona, so you can go ahead and share your screen and take it away.
Hey, thanks so much for that. It's great to be here, and I'm looking forward to diving into the workshop today on setting up conversions in Google Ads using Google Tag Manager. Now, if you are a Google Ads manager, you probably or possibly have set up a conversion before using Google Tag Manager, or you might be new to Google Ads and you've only previously done it in a way where it's been automated and suggested by Google Ads. Now, if you have done it previously, the what you'll come away with after today's lesson is knowing a little bit more of the how and understanding that potential of using Google Ads for your conversions offers the ability to be quite precise with the conversions that you're tracking and more deliberate around what you're wanting to get information from that you can take action from. So an overview on today's lesson is we're going to be having a look at the Google Tag Manager interface. So firstly, just in a really brief way so that we can see if Google Tag Manager is installed on your website and have a look at what Google Tag Manager looks like if you haven't seen it before. We're going to be looking at setting up a conversion in Google Ads, and there'll just be that it's really a how-to on setting up the conversion, but in doing that, we're going to be setting up a conversion. So, we'll just offer a couple of little pro tips around conversions and some ways that you might think, but it's definitely not a strategy lesson. But it's always good to keep those, those further learnings in the back of your mind and hold awareness around them. Then we're going to add that conversion to Google Tag Manager and understand testing that. And then we're just going to wrap it up and be aware of those next steps that you can take if you want to continue that Google Tag Manager journey, because it does really offer so many benefits, especially on the measurement marketing journey, which we just spoke about in that intro. Okay, so getting started doesn't necessarily mean that we are beginners. So this workshop will be beneficial for you. You may be new to running Google Ads and just wanting a little bit of a deeper understanding around setting up that conversion. And you may have learned how to do it by rote, but you're wanting to know why. Once you understand that why, it always gives you a little bit more control around things, which is great. So you might be experienced at running Google Ads and be in that situation that I just said, or you might be running your own ads for your own business and once again, just wanting some more knowledge around that. Just really quickly going to touch on the Google machine when it comes to Google Ads, because I think that this is really empowering and it just really ties in well to understanding why and how powerful conversions can be, and they can be used in understanding that customer journey. And understanding the depth of the Google machine is also just links to that really well and offers some perspective and context in regards to how the conversions happen and how well that Google machine can learn. So there's only three, really briefly. More than 80% of global businesses trust Google Ads for their PPC campaigns. People are 4 times more likely to click ads from Google than any other advertisement network. So they're really trusted, and knowing that, and when we get to strategy, thinking about how that can be used is good. But for now, you can just, hold it there in the back of your awareness. And that Google is the leader when it comes to market share with 86% of the market. Now that's talking about Chrome. But when you think about the whole Google suite of products, the variety of products that they have, like there's Google Ads, there's Google Chrome, there's Search Console, there's Google Mail, Gmail. There's just so many products, and they have so much data coming in from billions of people around the world that you think that they have the ability to use that for learning around finding people, the right people to show your ads to. And you can understand pretty quickly the amount of resources they have to feed into that Google Ads machine. So being able to track conversions and use conversions in a way that helps measure that customer journey is really exciting and part of why I love Google Ads. So that really means that you're going to end up with lots of clicks, lots of data, and lots of conversions to measure. Anyway, so let's jump into the good stuff and get moving on it. So in today's mix, we're going to be using Google Ads, Google Tag Manager, which we'll call GTM, and your website. We're not going to go into Google Analytics because it's just, even touching on the surface opens up a complete other can of worms and a rabbit hole that we don't want to go down today. Definitely at some stage, but not today. And I would recommend looking at the courses that we have in the Academy for that. And where there are resources throughout this workshop, I'll call them out and let you know what it is that you can go and have a look at. But no Google Analytics today for this workshop. Okay, so when it comes to recording conversions, there's a couple of ways that you can do it. You can import it from Google Analytics or rather you can create it directly in Google Ads. So we'll just quickly look at those two options. So the first option is setting it up in Google Analytics, and that would just involve importing your goal or your event from Google Analytics. I'm not going to show how to do this because it's not recommended by us. Just from a measurement marketing perspective, it doesn't offer any useful truth to be able to take an action from, and it's really sort of quite a polarizing option to, it's either yes or no, did that happen or didn't. It's not really any context around to allow you to make decisions and optimize if you're choosing that option. So it's faster, it's definitely an easier method to implement, but it doesn't provide what we like to call a useful truth, meaning it doesn't give us any contextual information to take an action from. So not our recommended approach, but the question gets asked a lot, and you may well have asked it yourself or thought, why, Google makes it so easy, and they highlight to you, why don't you just import these goals from Google Analytics? But it doesn't necessarily mean it's the best way, probably just easiest. Second option is to set them up in Google Ads using Google Tag Manager, which is what we're going to do today. So that is a slightly longer process and definitely probably more of a learning curve, but it like anything, it gives you a more useful, anything that you have to spend time on creating, it usually is it's a better quality in terms of that it gives you more feedback and allows you to run a bit of a tighter ship when it comes to optimizing your ads. So greater control, and conversely, it does give a useful truth. So it allows you to take actions. Also creating those Google Ads, and I haven't mentioned it here, but having them in the Google Ads platform itself means that you have more information available just within that Google Ads platform to make decisions on your optimization from. So that when you're looking inside of the Google Ads platform as an ads manager, you need that information to be able to optimize. It might not correlate with the forecasts that you're making for your business because, obviously your business is not using model data, whereas the Google Ads machine is using that. So, but by setting up the conversions directly in Google Ads, you also have access to that other information, allowing you to follow what we call trends and patterns, and then make the optimizations in your Google Ads account. So you could be making it from the data that you have available in Google Ads, along with the information that you're seeing if you're measuring your journey as a measurement marketer outside of Google Ads. So if you're using Google Analytics, for example, or maybe Looker Studio or something like that to, on a measurement marketing journey. All right, so we'll quickly duck over to Google Tag Manager now. Okay, so we'll quickly duck over to Google Tag Manager now, and we're going to have a look at the interface really briefly and see what that's all about. This is just a really brief look, so we know what we're getting into when we go to create the conversion. Okay, so Google Tag Manager, you're going to log into it and you're going to see this interface. So this is the dashboard. I'm not going to explain any of the functionality of this today because we've got the Google Tag Manager Basics Win course. What I need, Win Google Tag Manager Basics, is an excellent course for understanding how to use Google Tag Manager, and then Beyond Basics is the next level, but the upskilling that happens around here is beyond. It's definitely beyond basic, but really helps you level up those skills. So that's where you would go if you need that information. All you really need to know is that you'll come in here. If you need to get the Google Tag Manager code, you can click on the GTM account number there. You've got the code available to you here to install it on your website. Now, we can't go into the so many different websites, and installing that is, quite specific to each one. So that's something you could probably look up. On the website would have instructions for that, or YouTube. There's so many information resources available to get that. But if you need the code, that is where you would find it. And if you need to get access as an ads manager, just go into this admin area and go into the user management, and once again to user management, and you would add the email address here. Click on plus, add a user, and invite the people there. What you need here is the ability to be able to make edits in that particular container. So you need to make sure that those are all selected, and then get the invite sent to you, or you could send it to somebody else depending on what end you're working from. Click on Don't Save there. So that's just that quick look at the Google Tag Manager interface. I won't go any more into that at the moment. So just a really super quick recap. What we went over there was the Google Tag Manager setup and access. If you want to dive deeper into that, I recommend going over to our What I Need. Access you do through the admin menu drop down. Script is available from the Google Tag Manager. Just if you click on that GTM account number link, and you'll have the script available to you to install on your website. We need to check if Google Tag Manager is installed on the website, and then there's a win available for Google Tag Manager Basics. I do believe I forgot to cover this, so I'm just going to quickly dive back over and do that. Okay, so as I said, you need to check if Google Tag Manager is installed on the website so you can set up that conversion. Now, to do that, you will need to ensure that the Google Tag Assistant is installed as an extension. You can just do that by Googling it. And what you need to do there is then click on the, I'm just going to refresh this page. And you would click on the Tag Assistant, and what you want to do is just look down here to see that you can see the GTM code. Now just check this has got Google Optimize installed as well, but we're looking for Tag Manager. It's a similar looking layout there, and you want to make sure that it is installed on the website, and in our case it is, so you're good to go. And that's just how you check there. That's the easiest method, and you do want to make sure that you've got the Google Tag Assistant installed when you're running Google Ads. Okay, so the Google Ads interface, we'll go in and have a look at that now, and we'll go and look at getting that conversion set up. So when you come into Google Ads, you're going to hit the dashboard. So you'll probably come into Google Ads and all campaigns, or you could be anywhere really, it doesn't matter. What you need to do is go over to Tools and Settings and click on that, and under Measurement, click on Conversions, and that is going to give you the ability to set up conversions for any of your Google Ads, and you can call on using them as you're then going ahead into your campaigns and setting up particular ads. So we're going to click on a new conversion action, and we are looking at website conversions. Pop in your website domain, and what that will do is scan your website, and again, as Google likes to suggest stuff to you, it will suggest conversions potentially that you could do. And it will give you the ability to create a manual conversion or an automatic conversion, but we're going to stick with manual conversions because that is the beauty of using Google Tag Manager. Okay, so as promised, we've got this create conversions automatically from website events, which we don't want to do. We do want to create our conversion actions manually using Google Code. So we can come down and add a conversion action manually there. I'm going to quickly go through these settings so that we've got the conversion set up, but it's not a strategy session, so I'm not going to go through all the possibilities that could be done here because there is just so many of them. As I said, I may briefly touch on some pointers, but you will need to consider what is right for your business in this regard. So if we were creating a purchase conversion, we've got primary and secondary as the options. So primary would be those that you would optimize your ads on, and secondary might be micro conversions. So you might use that if you're testing something or you don't have any information yet around a conversion and you want to see if people are landing on the page or taking a certain behavior. That's also something, though, when you're measuring behavior typed actions, that's also something that Google Tag Manager is really strong at enabling that to happen. So, and again, that would be by the use of, initially just by the use of a tag and a trigger, but as you move forward in that journey, then you could use things like variables and your data layer to pull information out and be more intentional around what you're measuring. So at the moment, we just look at a primary conversion for a purchase, and we'll just call it purchase, and we're just going to use the same conversion value for each conversion as 1, and we are going to measure every conversion. So obviously, if you had a purchase, you would want to know every time someone made a purchase. There's a lot of little bits of information on the side here that I would recommend having a look at if you want to learn further around these options. And then these settings down the bottom here, we're just going to leave them at the default. And if you need to know more information, then you can probably find that in a Google Ads course, or on YouTube, I'm sure would have that information. Definitely the Google Help or Google Ads. If you Google Ads Help, you would be able to find more information there. There's links on the side here. So we'll click on Done, and then we have saved that conversion. And the next thing we have to do is add it to our website. So if we, to Google Tag Manager. So if we click on Save and Continue, got a few options along the top here. So we're setting up with Google Tag and with Google Tag Manager are two different things. So we don't want to use a Google Tag. What that does is just really specifically relates to this conversion with Google Ads. So it doesn't allow you, like Google Tag Manager does, to run all of your conversion tracking through the one platform. So Google Tag Manager will speak to, when I say speak to, it will send information about conversions or actions off to any number of platforms. So it could be Google Ads, it could be Analytics, it could be Pinterest or Facebook, or there is hundreds of them. That's the benefit of using Google Tag Manager. So we don't want to use a Google Tag. We don't want to send the instructions to our webmaster. We want to use Google Tag Manager. And that's going to present us now with a conversion ID and a conversion label. And those are the two bits of information that we need. So it's telling us to go over to our Google Tag Manager and make sure we've got a conversion linker tag installed. If you want to know more information about the role that serves, click on the link there, or you can Google it, and I'm sure you'll get lots of good insights. So we want this conversion ID, and we're going to pick that up and take it with us over to Google Tag Manager, and we're going to go back to our workspace. And the first thing we are going to do is we're going to go into tag, and then we're going to create a new tag. And alongside here, we're going to look to see if we can find it. If we can't, we just search at the top, and we are going to look for the linker tag, so conversion linker. Now, without talking too much about the functionality of the conversion linker, it just assists with measurement, basically measurement of Google Ads and cross-domain tracking. So all we need to do for this is add the tag, and then we want it to fire on all pages of the website. And that's a really easy one to set up, and we will give that a name of Google Ads Conversion Linker. We just spell there. Okay, and then we're going to save that one. Already has one. I did one earlier, so you can see that that's there, but that's how you would set it up. And the next thing that we're going to do is, so that conversion link only needs to be installed once. We can then come in and create a new conversion. So we click on tag configuration. We're going to go and find Google Ads conversion tracking there. We'll always use that one. And we're going to drop that conversion ID in that we picked up from Google Ads before. Then we're going to jump back and we're going to copy that label. And over on Google Tag Manager, we're going to drop it in the conversion label placeholder there. Now, we don't need to fill out any more of these. If you know more about the data layer and if you've got e-commerce configured, if you want to get it configured, we have a win on that, and it teaches you, walks you through how to set up e-commerce tracking for Google Analytics. We don't have that set up, so we won't put anything there. We're just going to skip past all of these and just to go into the advanced settings and think about how often you want this particular tag to fire. Do you want it to fire any number of times? Just only once per event? So per event would be per purchase or per page view or whatever it may be. Or you might only want it to fire once per page. So that would depend on your use case for the conversion. So we're going to go into triggers here, and I'm going to use this particular trigger, and it's going to fire. I'll open it up so you can have a look at it. So this has been set up in terms of if it was a purchase and you hadn't configured e-commerce tracking. We could say that a purchase happens when somebody lands on the page path which contains orders. That may be the page that they go to after they have finished their purchase, and that would be our conversion tick to say, yep, they have done what we wanted them to do after they saw the Google ad. And we can go and set this up as Google Ads. And we will call it a purchase. So all of my Google Ads information tags is going to start with G ads, so that if I'm looking for them, they'll be grouped together. And so now we have got this particular tag to fire when somebody lands on that particular page. Now, I'll save that and very briefly go into, again, this already has been set up, so I'm not going to save it, but that just shows how you would do it. But when you look at triggers, the amount of behaviors that you can trigger something on is where the power of Google Tag Manager comes in. So you could set up a conversion for something on Google Ads, and you could have that fire as a conversion perhaps when they watch a particular video or when they submit a particular form. And when you think about those particular ways that you can get something to fire, it just shows you the how particular you can be and how you can run different ads for different reasons through Google Ads. So, if you wanted them to make a purchase, that's quite a deep funnel objective, and you might be happy to spend more on that. But you could also potentially run an ad where it's just for a page view of a particular page, and you might just want to be running that for something more top of funnel for awareness. And these triggers are what are so powerful in that regard. Now, once you've got that done, you'll go to overview and you want to preview that tag is firing. Now, this is a demo container, so I don't actually have Google Tag Manager installed on, well, not the same Google Tag Manager installed on this page. But what you typically do is create preview, and that will bring up, you just need to pop in the URL here and you can click on connect. And what that's going to do is have a look at Tag Assistant to see if we can measure the page, and we can see that it's connected there. And if we were to click on another page, what you can do then is go back into the preview here, and this is definitely a Google Tag Manager subject, but you would be looking down here to make sure that that particular tag has fired and that it's sent that information off to Google Ads to let them know, or let Google Ads know, that a conversion has happened. And that, if that is all happy and you're good to go there, then you will go ahead and submit, and that will push that tracking live. And what will happen is the information will start getting sent through to Google Ads, and your conversions will start recording. And obviously the how-to in terms of Google Ads is about seeing where those conversions show up so that you can optimize them. So we won't go into that in this course, but that is how you would get that tracking. All right, so bringing that all together, what we've had a look at today is the measurement journey, is kind of where this all comes together. Now, we have something in the measurement marketing journey called ACE events, and that would be something that you can look at in the measurement marketing framework, and that was touched on previously in the introduction to this lesson. So if you're looking at being able to measure actions, engagements, and conversion events on your page to understand how people are progressing through the journey, and understanding how Google Ads plays a part in that and how you can measure that, then you might want to look at our measurement marketing framework. The use of triggers and behaviors to extend the benefit of ads. So using Google Tag Manager, so that conversion tracking could come into play. So with that, I will draw the workshop to a close, and hopefully that's given you a bit more of a deep dive into setting up a conversion on Google Tag Manager for Google Ads, and hopefully we will see you in the Academy getting some more information around Google Tag Manager, and instructors are available to answer your questions and extend your measurement journey. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Fiona. Appreciate everything that you went through there. Again, if you've got a question on this, if you're running Google Ads or you're trying to figure out a conversion setup, or whether it's a strategy question, what should a conversion be, or how can I do this in Tag Manager, or how does this seen in Google Ads? Fiona's back there in Ask Instructor Support, one of the many instructors we've got for you back there as part of the Measurement Marketing Academy for the marketers, and of course, Measurement Marketing Academy for professionals, and Academy for agencies and teams. If you've got access to Ask Instructor, you've got access to Fiona. What was your one thing? I know for me, it's a little bit of like, why use Tag Manager if I can use Google Analytics 4 and just connect the two? And a real big benefit to using Tag Manager is that it can control the behaviors, right? What exact behavior will trigger this specific conversion event into Google Ads. And at the same time, technically, you can use that same trigger and fire it off to Facebook or TikTok or any other ad platform that you're working, so that all the platforms get it at the same time from the same single source of truth, which of course is Google Tag Manager. So how does it fit in the framework? Remember, the questions that you can start asking and the information you can start gathering, those are going to be conversion events, and it ties into your results. So when you're setting up your results for Google Ads and Tag Manager and everything else, it's in your build is where most of this stuff happens. And while we didn't go into the traffic tagging and all of that stuff, the results are super important. So making sure that you've got the right conversion event measured under the right behavior that you're trying to collect for, so you can see a story, so that you can listen to the conversation, so that it matches your forecast, so you can know where to optimize, right? To improve, whether it's a lead event or a purchase event or just some sort of engagement signal that you're trying to measure for. There's lots of reasons to do this, and how it fits, of course, into the framework itself. Now, next week's workshop, speaking of ad platforms, is going to be about TikTok, and specifically using Tag Manager to set up TikTok, because it's completely different. And it's a beyond basics, because you're going to be using a kind of a custom HTML approach to this. It's a little more into the code of things, but it's super important technique. It's something you technically had to do with Facebook many, many years ago. And so we're going to show that, because that's kind of where TikTok is right now. Their technology is not as up to speed as Facebook's is. So we're going to, show you how to do that. And that'll be next week's workshop. If you want to make sure you get that workshop, just subscribe to the YouTube channel. You will automatically be notified. Of course, the other way to do it is by joining the Measurement Marketing Academy. And remember, we have the Toolbox, which is free. So when you join the Toolbox, which is the free edition of the Measurement Marketing Academy, you get this workshop. So you always have the most recent workshop Wednesday will be back there, but you also get all these toolkits. So there's lots of different toolkits that we give access to, lots of different tools that we've created for our members, and we give those out for free at the free level, the Toolbox level. So to get that, just go to the Academy page. You can see measure.tips/Get Academy to learn more, including you'll see an option there to just create a free account if that's all you're ready to do. But it'll also talk about the other editions that are currently available for you as well. So again, measure.tips/Get Academy to learn more about the Measurement Marketing Academy and all of its different versions. With that, this is the complete wrong slide, so I'm going to have to fix this in post. This should not be this slide. It should be the other one, but either way, I'm gonna say it like it was. This has technically been getting started, how to set up Google Ads with Google Tag Manager. Thanks again for watching this one. I'm gonna flip that back. And again, this gets fixed in post. Thanks again for joining us for this workshop, and we'll see you in the next one.